Global security is once again at a crossroads. The United States and Iran are locked in confrontation, and President Donald Trump has declared that he can end the war in just 2 or 3 weeks. It is a bold claim, one that raises questions not only about military power, but about diplomacy, economics, and the future of international order. This is not just another headline, it is a moment that could redefine the balance of power in the 21st century. To understand what is at stake, we must revisit the long and turbulent history between Washington and Tehran, examine Trump's current strategy, and explore the consequences for the world. The story begins in 1979, when the Iranian Revolution toppled the Shah, a close ally of the United States, and replaced him with Ayatollah Khomeini's Islamic Republic. That same year, Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking 52 American diplomats hostage for 444 days. The hostage crisis marked the beginning of decades of hostility. Throughout the 1980s, Iran fought a brutal war against Iraq, while the United States covertly supported Saddam Hussein. In the 1990s and 2000s, Washington imposed sweeping sanctions on Iran, accusing it of sponsoring terrorism and pursuing nuclear weapons. The nuclear issue became the central flashpoint. In 2015, the Obama administration signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JPOA, with Iran and other world powers. The deal limited Iran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. But in 2018, Trump withdrew from the agreement, calling it the worst deal ever negotiated. His decision reignited tensions, leading to new sanctions and escalating confrontations. This history matters because it shows a cycle: confrontation, negotiation, breakdown, and renewed confrontation. Trump's current strategy fits into this pattern, but with his own unique twist: a promise of swift victory. In early 2026, Trump declared that he could end the war with Iran in 2 or 3 weeks. His administration has deployed thousands of U.S. paratroopers to the Middle East, signaling readiness for direct confrontation. Iran, in turn, has threatened retaliation not only against military targets but against major U.S. corporations. 18 companies, including Microsoft, Google, Apple, Tesla, and Boeing, have been named as potential targets. This is a striking development. The conflict is spilling into the economic and technological realm, where global giants could become collateral damage. Meanwhile, Israel has passed a controversial law allowing the death penalty for Palestinians convicted of lethal attacks. The European Union has condemned the move, warning of human rights violations. This adds another layer of complexity to the regional picture, intertwining the US-Iran confrontation with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Trump's strategy, then, is not just military. It is political, economic, and symbolic. He is projecting strength, promising speed, and daring Iran to test American resolve. But can such a strategy truly reshape global security? The U.S. military presence in the Middle East is formidable. Aircraft carriers patrol the Persian Gulf, bases in Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait host thousands of troops. Advanced fighter jets and missile defense systems are positioned to deter Iranian aggression. Iran, however, does not fight conventionally. Its strength lies in asymmetric tactics, cyber warfare, proxy militias, and missile strikes. Groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and militias in Iraq form a network of allies that can strike U.S. interests indirectly. This creates a dangerous dynamic. A direct U.S.-Iran clash could quickly escalate into a regional war, drawing in Israel, Saudi Arabia, and other players. The Strait of Hormuz, through which 1/5 of the world's oil passes, could become a flashpoint. A single missile strike on a tanker could send shockwaves through global markets. Military strategists warn that while the U.S. has overwhelming firepower, Iran's ability to wage a prolonged, decentralized conflict could make a quick victory elusive. Conflict with Iran is not confined to battlefields. It reverberates through global markets. Already, U.S. gas prices have surged to $4 per gallon, straining households and businesses. Iran's threats against U.S. corporations raise the stakes further. Imagine cyber attacks on Microsoft's cloud services, disruptions to Apple's supply chains, or sabotage of Boeing's aircraft production. These are not hypothetical risks, they are real possibilities in a world where economic warfare is as potent as military strikes. History offers sobering lessons. The 1973 oil crisis triggered global recession. The 1990 Gulf War sent energy prices soaring. Today, a conflict with Iran could destabilize economies from Asia to Europe to North America. For ordinary people, the impact is tangible: higher fuel costs, inflation, job losses, and uncertainty. Trump's strategy, therefore, is not just about military victory. It is about whether the global economy can withstand the shockwaves of confrontation. While Trump projects confidence, other powers are maneuvering. China has positioned itself as a potential peace broker, seeking to mediate between Washington and Tehran. This reflects Beijing's broader ambition to expand its influence in global diplomacy. The European Union, meanwhile, has condemned Israel's death penalty law and urged restraint in the US-Iran conflict. European leaders fear that escalation could trigger refugee flows, terrorism, and economic instability. At the United Nations, critics argue that the Secretary-General has failed to provide strong leadership. Calls grow louder for a Secretary-General of courage who can confront crises head-on. Russia, Turkey, and Gulf states each pursue their own interests, balancing between alliances and rivalries. The diplomatic chessboard is crowded, and Trump's strategy is one piece in a larger game. Trump's Iran strategy has implications far beyond the Middle East. NATO allies worry about being dragged into conflict. Intelligence agencies warn of increased terrorism if instability spreads. Nuclear proliferation looms as a risk if Iran accelerates its program or if other states seek deterrence. Extremist movements could exploit chaos. ISIS remnants, al-Qaeda affiliates, and other groups thrive in environments of war and displacement. A prolonged US-Iran conflict could create fertile ground for their resurgence. Global security, therefore, is not just about US victory or Iranian resistance. It is about whether the international system can absorb the shock without unraveling. Behind every headline are human lives. Civilian casualties mount in conflict zones, refugees flee across borders, families are displaced, schools are destroyed, and children are denied education. In Afghanistan, girls are deliberately failing exams to avoid exclusion from schools, a heartbreaking symbol of how conflict and repression intersect. At the Torkham border, refugees wait for passage, caught between nations and wars. Global security is not just about armies and strategies, it is about people, their safety, dignity, and future. Trump's Iran strategy, whatever its military or diplomatic outcomes, will have profound humanitarian consequences. 3 scenarios stand out. Scenario 1. Rapid US victory. Trump's claim comes true. The US overwhelms Iran militarily, forcing a settlement within weeks. Global security is reshaped by American dominance, but risks of insurgency and resentment remain. Scenario 2. Prolonged conflict. Iran mobilizes proxies, wages asymmetric war, and drags the US into a long struggle. Global markets suffer, terrorism rises, and alliances strain. Scenario 3. Diplomatic breakthrough. China or another actor brokers peace. A new agreement emerges, reshaping global diplomacy and reducing tensions. Each scenario carries consequences that will shape the world for decades. Trump's Iran strategy is not just about military maneuvers. It has far-reaching consequences for global security, economics, diplomacy, and humanitarian issues. Whether it reshapes the world order depends on the interplay of military force, diplomatic negotiations, and international cooperation. The central question remains, will Trump's Iran strategy reshape global security or destabilize it further? The answer lies not just in Washington or Tehran, but in the choices made by nations, leaders, and citizens across the globe.